So how does a hacker attack? It's a complicated question. There is no one answer to win them all, but there's different kinds of hackers and different kind of skills, and you never know which one just happened to hit you. So let's divide it into two. There's your random drive-by hacks that are designed to just kind of throw it out there, and it's a vulnerability. I found, I don't know, I'll use a very old one so that I don't speak of anything bad. I found that SQL 2005 has an existing vulnerability that's unpatchable, or it's end of life, so they don't patch it. And then I'm going to I found a way to exploit it. And now I'm going to search the web to see who has an SQL 2005 that's externally facing. I find it, I exploit it, I own the machine, and from there I see what I can do. Could be owned by a huge international bank who just for some reason forgot it out. Could be owned by a studio, could be owned by an insurance company, could be owned by a mom and pop shop. I don't know. I'll figure it out, but I promise you I'll find hundreds. And so I have all the time in the world, I can work on it and I can see where I can go. That's one kind of an attack. The other one is I have a beef with someone, or I got paid to hit someone, or I don't know, we can talk about the reasons why targeted attacks are targeted. Political, sometimes it's even a disgruntled employee from within, it doesn't matter. But let's say somebody decided that they want to hit me. How would that look? If they're good, not state level phenomenal, but if they know what they're doing, they'll do initial reconnaissance, which means you look at everything external facing. And I just don't necessarily just mean a website. I mean anything that's external facing machines. So a server that talks outline could be to third-party suppliers. It could be an API to a bank. It could be a machine you left out there because it's publishing something, well, whatever. Big or medium-sized organizations will have external-facing applications, or it can even be a subcontractor portal, but it's outside and it has a backbone back into my infrastructure, or at least I'm hoping it. That's the cleanest way, and they'll map that out and they'll search for any known vulnerability. That's basic number one. If they found a known vulnerability, it's easy, then there's existing exploit 99%. You either buy it or get it for free, use it, and you're in that machine. Doesn't mean you're in the network necessarily, but that's the first foothold. Usually parallel to that, they'll start a social engineering campaign. What you hear predominantly as phishing emails and stuff like that, those have escalating levels as well. So you can send 100 emails to 100 employees offering them a Starbucks coupon, and if you double-click the file, then a payload goes down to your machine. I'm simplifying it intentionally. And either out of those 100 people, 20 clicked and you got what you wanted, or nobody answered your Starbucks coupon, and you have to escalate your phishing, and now you create a fake user with the fake website. Maybe you're a restaurant down the street offering them 2-for-1 because you opened. You start building a stronger, more reliable story. It's a human interface kind of thing. This is not technology at all. You look at Google Maps, you scan the street, you see 5 restaurants across the street, you know that most of the people working there will have eaten there often. You take one of those names, you send them a coupon, there's a trust, they know the name, they know the restaurant, they know the place, they eat there often. It's very basic, it's very modern, didn't get out of my chair, Google Streets, Google Maps, but fundamental next step. You can go on and on and on, you can create a user that's a salesperson, you can create a website for their company, you can push their technology, you can take 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 20 weeks just working on the sales guy, so that in 20 weeks when I want to send him a PPT, he'll click it because he's established a relationship with me, even though I don't really exist. That's high-end ones. You'll see government ones will run those kind of things for years before they make the... So you can have a virtual, CV company, but you got to understand, it's 100% success to get somebody to click if you're doing it right, because it's their job to do it. So if I send a CV to an HR recruiter, of course she'll click it. That's what she's supposed to do. She's supposed to get CVs from people around the world, get a file, and click it. So I'm not cheating her to doing anything she shouldn't. It's the same for finance. If I send a bill, they need to open it. If I send a lawsuit to the legal department, they need to open it. It's their job. Then I find out the next level, which security systems are in place. Maybe they have a filtering for the file, and the file I'm sending in isn't going through because it's being filtered. Maybe it did go through, but when they double click it, they have security on their local machine and it's not letting my payload get installed. So now a back and forth begins. I try batch one, it fails. I try to analyze and understand why it failed, and then I fix it and circumvent this and circumvent that, until I'm content that I got a hold of the machine I needed to get a hold of. There's no one way to circumvent it. You can focus on technology, you can focus on the human side. There were times where we got the user through emailing and talking to them to download it from their private email because they were convinced that this was very, very crucial. They opened the document and their security on their machine was blocking it. So they opened it on their private email on the machine, which infected the machine. So they circumvented the entire email filtering process of the company by going to their Gmail. But how'd you get them to do it? Human manipulation. There were times where we just realized that the protocol we were using was being blocked. So we redesigned the Trojan horse to talk in a different protocol. Blocked again, different protocol, blocked again, different protocol, passed. Trial and error until you get it done. There's no security system that'll block everything. So it's an endless trial and error. Having said that, what's the key element here? Time. If I have as much time as I want to try and fail, I'll get it done eventually. The issue is that if I tried once or twice and all the bells started ringing and everything was blocked and my email was taken down and my user has been, then it becomes an issue. Then they're not letting me do trial and error. Hence, response, identification and response become key. If you understand you're being attacked, even if they passed the first element, even if they got a hold of a machine, but if you understand what's happening to you quickly and you respond correctly, you can pretty much, let's say, mitigate any kind of attack, even if they're well funded and extremely well skilled. If you don't, either have identified it or if you did, you didn't understand what you're seeing and just let it by, then even a very, very low skilled hacker, if he has all the time in the world, he'll get what he wants done. Eventually. He'll just learn. Just trial and error on your machine, even if he doesn't have money, doesn't have skills, but you're like a school. They'll just try and try. So, very, very simply put, that's how a cyber attack looks like for the infiltration point. Once they're inside, it's a whole world. It depends why they attacked you. If they want to shame you, then they'll go for data. If they're a criminal act, they'll go for where they think the money is at. There's thousands of reasons for attacks, and then once you're in, there's tens, if not hundreds of paths you could hypothetically go through. Plus, you'll see once you start controlling things, ideas pop up. You know what? I get the ERP system. I could forge a new account for a new supplier that doesn't exist and have them pay me monthly fees. Nobody would pick that up for months if it's a big enough company. Or, I found their email. I see stuff here that I think I can extort. You look around and you kind of pick it up as you go.